That's right, everybody. We are here to talk about Sora 2. Let me make that very clear. And if you like that little image that I had there at the beginning, that is, of course, generated through AI by the power and wonder of, I think, the process of reality itself, which I think holds everything at a razor's edge in regards to the idea of purpose itself, which I feel as though is probably the main concern for people when such a technology has been brought to the forefront where they question their actual place in this world. Now, let me tell you why I think philosophy is the most important thing that you can study at this point. Because I think philosophy allows there to be some subjective reality in which your soul is expressed in it being something that nobody else can know. And perhaps all choices that you make create a shadow, which is in effect the real world, and everybody's choices make these shadows, which create this idea of something that is beyond all of our control, which is ultimately the third state, which is where all things go. And that's the idea that all things in the end will only know themselves. So I ask you, are you truly afraid of yourself and perhaps all the quirks, all the open-ended questions you have, all the uncertainties, all the little marks and misdeeds, and everything that defines you? I think that as technology becomes more prominent and we see the advancement of AI, because the box has been opened, Pandora is being let out. There's no going back. And I am actually in wonder and awe for what is about to happen, because I think the potentialities are limitless. And I think that that is, in essence, the description of life. Life is a belief. And what do you believe in? Do you believe in good? Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe you can get through this and not give up? And ultimately, do you believe that you are able to go through the driest of dries, which is ultimately perhaps the truth itself, and the wettest of wets, which is the imaginations of the truth, and still be able to say that you would do this all over again? I think that's the purpose of life. The ability to reach and that ability to believe, because in the beginning, all of it was just potentiality, you see. That's what we're seeing with this. Potential. Do not try to destroy something's potential just because it has the ability to make you question yourself and your value. I think if you can't create the idea that you have value by your own doings anyways, and give them up to the world and say, world, what have you? Then you never really were one to actually go into the world. Maybe you're all living inside of a bubble, and this actually has shown you that. Shown you that really, in comparison to what else is out there, you are sheltered. You are very, very sheltered. And maybe perhaps a little bit of you want to stay sheltered, but I'm telling you that that is not going to be a possibility in the future. Do not, though, think that all of what humankind takes pleasure in is going to be left behind, just as we can find things like Italian leather-made objects by hand today. Of course, we'll be able to drive cars in the future on a track and say it's just for fun. But do not let your interests slow down a whole nation. Do not, let's say, just because you think that it's taking away some opportunity for you in the future, and ultimately it has the idea for all of us to feel free and reach that potential that we can all eventually see. Do not let the fact that you are questioning something limit that for all of us. Limit that for all the rest of us. And I think I speak for a lot of people when I say this. I think that the world begins with potential and it's belief, because it can be anything. And that's what belief really is, and that's how belief can be true. And that's how, perhaps in the end, in the future, that's what it is as well. And I think that we're sort of witnessing that. And I ask you all to express and to share and to like these things which open up the idea of potentials and of freedoms and of liberties and of making things possible for everyone, just like everybody has the right to a soul. Maybe none of us really own anything, and all of us just really like things. But eventually, things that we like, we must acknowledge that they themselves have a spirit too. And if that's the case, then maybe they're on their own as well. And up to the world too. So that's sort of my take. I know that there's a lot of things that everybody's thinking behind the scenes and also on the scenes, but I value my opinion very much, and I think that it is very valid. And I think that everybody needs to look inwards a little bit and to dispose of a little bit of this fear of perhaps, them having to be an animal. Because ironically, you're being an animal right now, thinking that all you do is you need to eat and hunger and feed. You're actually very worldly. The irony you see in trying to be something that doesn't basically have to succumb to being below creativity. You're subjugating creativity itself. You're destroying it. You're rendering it incomplete. And I ask anybody who has fingers to share this as much as you can. Share it with everybody. Make everybody understand that there's really only you that you need to be afraid of. And if you can't accept yourself, then I don't think anybody needs to feel sorry for you. And as much as we like to believe that there's realness in this world, which is basically nothing can change, it doesn't ever change, that's false. Even without all of these philosophical postulations, everything does change. Nothing lasts forever. So what is reality? What is truth? But our holding on to something that potentially we need to let go of. Again, I say that maybe you have just been inside your own little ignorant bubble. And then you actually can see that there's really only one way to create lasting value, and that is to believe. And not to try to limit others or limit the potentials of things which have great capabilities. You are just inside a bubble. But look more inward and be, a bird and be free. Soar, as they say, through the skies and more. Or perhaps maybe even become basic. What do you choose? Circle, square, or triangle? I think there's as much to tell in the unity of those things as there is in anything, in any shape that we can bring, that we can think of, that we can sing. Again, you are sheltered, and you are just realizing the real world. The real world for the first time. And if you can't learn to believe in yourself and the facts of what you are, not necessarily just these characters that you create, that's ultimately what the problem is. If you had value in yourself, you wouldn't need all of this stuff that you say is yours. You've been sheltered and finally you have been exposed. And maybe people really won't like you. This is your chance to actually create a character of yourself. A full character. I'm pretty fully fledged. I do a lot of things. And I'm not afraid. But I think you are. I think you're very afraid.